Hello friends, quick touch base on what's been going on. My last video I said I wouldn't be creating too many videos unless there's many changes. There are obviously many changes with this Karamba thing, which I think I'm allowed to pronounce now, but I'm not going to anyway because I've got my thoughts on it and my opinion and research. Actually, I may as well bring it uh, up just quickly. But before that, I've got a video that I want to focus your attention on. A very good interview that I wouldn't be surprised that some of the viewers of this channel have seen already, but I'll mention it anyway. And obviously, everything I say here is my opinion, not financial advice. And if anything, I'd like to think of it as entertainment. Now, this is how little I have kind of a nerves to watch the news. I just can't listen to it because it's all almost pure garbage, honestly. But for the information's sake, sometimes I have to ask people as to what the current status of things is. For example, I had to ask my mum if the water restrictions were still on. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of rain and that sort of stuff, but how governments and laws don't make sense. I wouldn't be surprised if the water restrictions were still on, but apparently they're not. Mum's like, oh, you got to watch news for this sometimes. And I'm thinking, Mum, I can ask you, or I can ask my neighbor, or I can just quickly Google it. But I thought I'd ask her, so I didn't know that they were over. And then yesterday I was, also I'm going to create a video on what I think about the property prices, where they're going next, and my anecdote with a Chinese friend of mine. I was visiting her yesterday, and for a brief moment, I was actually watching news, and they had on Channel 9 the updates on like the status of the Karamba thing. And normally I can't be watching it, but it was like a medical officer, something general. I honestly have no idea. And that was yesterday on the 25th of March, 2020. So that I was watching that kind of during the day, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I might get some of the figures wrong, but I think they said there's like 7 deaths in Australia, and out of those, this is his words, all are over the age of 70, and most are even 80 and even 90 plus years of age. I'm thinking, okay, so there's like 7 or 8 or whatever the case, oh, sorry, deaths, and we know that there's thousands every year. So, and then he says the as to how many cases there are slash the deaths or deaths slash cases, that the death rate in Australia, I'm pretty sure I got this right, is 0.4%. Now, again, the common flu, thousands of people die every year. They don't shut the economy down. Even a friend of mine who kind of had different view on this, uh, compared to my view, said, looks like Trump is going your way. He's saying that more people die in car accidents, and yet we're not going to stop people from driving cars. And I know people will say yes, but car accidents are not contagious. Yet the fact is, really, if you made more people stay indoors, there would be a fewer car accidents. There would be fewer infections during, virus and flu seasons every year. So you could do this every year and save actually thousands of lives. Actually, a lot more than you did against the Karamba. So it completely, absolutely still doesn't make sense. You really need to look into this just to protect yourself and protect your freedoms. That's all I'm going to. Okay, so back to the markets. We were always talking about the opportunities. This interview I'm going to share with you is going to go into what this smart man, in my opinion, I'm a new fan, thinks about where we are in the cycle. I personally think that we are not nowhere near, or we're definitely not at the bottom. I can't say nowhere near the bottom, but I'm not going to steal anyone's research. But this man from the interview, again, that I'm going to share, says that, or makes a very good point, that pulling back about 30% where we are now just brings it back to fair value of the market, and that's not even um, you know factoring in the earning downgrades. So this is according to what the earnings are right now. So we are still fair value, or even above fair value in any case at current rates. So market never has one dip. The absolute minimum, I think, was the 23rd of March. This is the 5-day chart. So he bombed out really 4.4. So what was it? 4.4. So 4,447 for S&P 200 in Australia here, and then it bounced back up and up and up. It looks like this is it. If you buy here, you're going to be a genius in a month or 2 or 3 or 6 or 12 months time. But I think it's going to dip below this one more time before it starts going back up, just because the first floor is never the only floor. Now, how long will it take? I mean, if we have a look at the month, so the month again, the 23rd, as you can see up there, it's the 23rd. That was the minimum bounce back off that bottom. People are buying. I don't know who's buying. Actually, I don't think people are buying. It's probably bots. So high frequency trading, and maybe some of the managers are trying to kind of sell into this little rally, let's call it, and to completely liquefy before the end of the quarter. So, all right, the 26th is today. So it's, what is it? Thursday. 27th tomorrow, Friday, last day of trading here in Australia. So I think the market's going to go down tomorrow. How much? I don't know, 2-3%, maybe 5. But yeah, I think it'll have a negative day. And now finally, that interview actually has few very good nuggets there. Very good reasoning about where the property market's at the moment. Now, being reasonable and realistic in the last 5,000 years of recent Australian economic history, obviously exaggerating, but the last 20 years just didn't work. It didn't make you an expert. It didn't make you money. But given where we are, I mean, what I'm going to create a video on what I think, or some subscribers and viewers have asked for what my view is on the property market. And having said that, there's a very important anecdote as far as it directly from a Chinese person. That's n equals 1, so there's no you can't hang your opinion and advice and future actions based on that. But it's a very interesting one, and I'll tell you, you'll see why. That's my next video. But Damien Klassen, he was interviewed by one of the channels I promoted just recently, or I mentioned to you. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if you already subscribed. Live Wire Markets, really relevant to local. They do interview a lot of people like Damien, but Damien seems to be different in a sense where just the way he laid it out, the way he's looking at it, he doesn't seem to be delusional like some of the other maybe money managers who may be the ones who are currently potentially bouncing off this bottom and thinking, oh, this is a good opportunity. Maybe I'm being unfair to them, but someone is buying, and I know that it can't possibly be a retail investors. Retail investors will only get in, mums and dads, when it's too late, right? When we are towards some sort of a top, when they kind of capitulate in a sense where, well, we thought it was never going to go up. The markets will perpetually go down during, because of this downturn and everything else. People tend to remember say, a GFC, global financial crisis, that happened in 2008-9, that no retail investors really invested that much because they just couldn't forget what happened then. It was one of the, as Martin Armstrong calls it, one of the most unpopular, unloved bull markets. We have to remember that since 2008, the markets have gone gangbusters. Like, look at this. This is about a minimum there, or the bottom of the 2000 that happened in 2009, and see how, I don't know if you can see here, there was one bottom, and then people would have thought this is the minimum, and it just went back up, and then it hit down the minimum again, but then it turned out not to be the minimum. It just had a little bounce, which is what I think is going on now, except that this happened in months and months time, where now it's happening daily and just weekly. And that there was that final minimum that seems to be in March, around March 2009. And look, hindsight is a beautiful thing looking at these charts, but what I'm saying is that the market's been in a bull, absolute tear on a tear, going up and up and up. and none of the mums and dads, including myself, so retail investors, have not participated. So where this little bounce is coming from, I think, is just some of the bigger money managers and institutions trying to kind of sell into this small rally. And so there'll be another bottom. So I don't think we'll reach the bottom, but we probably are not too far away from it. But even if we are, this definitely, in my opinion, is in the bottom. Okay, so I'll obviously paste the link in the description box below. He called the crash. So what comes next is the interview that was posted 2 days ago, and there's already 5,200 views. Damien Klassen on Livewire. And yeah, I'll have another video on the property market and my anecdote as to where it's going and why, and whether there's a similar kind of panic going on as there had been in the stock market. Okay, that's it for now. Chat soon. Bye for now.